Dr. Phil, my mom is way too nosy. She needs to mind her own business.
Open the door.
We live in such close proximity to each other, I can't help but be involved in her life.
Open the door. I know you're in there.
This is my house, and this is my mom's house. We live way too close.
It's natural for me to look out the window and see if Carla's home. It's just something I've always done.
She watches me like a hawk. I'm 31 years old, and I can take care of myself.
I think that it is my nature to be involved.
Please let yourself in.
I don't think I'm nosy at all.
If stuff's not up to par at our house, my mom would definitely let us know.
When's the last time you done any laundry? Let me
Just
do
go
it.
home.
Don't say I didn't try to help it.
Aggravating. My mother nagged us 2 weeks straight to cut the hedges, and then we came home and they were just nubs.
I don't think it was bothering her, but it was bothering me, and I was going to do something about it.
My mom makes it her business to make sure that my rent is always paid on time.
My sister is Carla's landlord. I don't want Carla taking advantage of the situation.
It's gonna be paid.
She reads my mail. She insists on knowing every bill that I have.
Sure, I read Carla's mail because she has some of it delivered to my house.
If my mom had her way, she'd run a background check on all of my friends. Where they live, do they go to church, do they drink, do they smoke?
As a mother, I want to know who she's hanging out with. I want to give an approval. Carla's told me to mind my own business, but I have concerns with her.
She is watching me. Even when I don't see her, she sees me. If you want to have sex, make sure the door's locked.
I know every move. She cannot pull the wool over on my eyes.
Recently, I came home at 11 o'clock with my 11-year-old daughter, and sure enough, my mom's calling, want to know where I've been.
That was unacceptable. By that time, my blood was boiling.
A minute later, my mom come barreling through the door in her pajamas, threatening to call social services.
We had a shouting match.
I told her, how dare you tell me you're going to take away my daughter? I'm fed up with her being so nosy.
She better be thankful I'm a busybody. If it weren't for me, this place would go up in flames.
Dr. Phil, am I overreacting to my mom's meddling, or is it time for her to butt out of my business?
Well, I don't know. Let's ask the audience. Is it time for her to butt out of her business? What's going on here? Mom, come on.
I'm just being a loving mother, trying to do what's best for my daughter.
You're just being a loving mother? Let's go over some of your loving behavior. You read her mail?
She has it delivered to my house. She won't pick it up. Somebody's got to read it. She don't pick it up for a week.
Somebody's got to read it. Did you appoint her to why do you read her mail? Seriously, why do you read mail?
I think it's a lot of times just junk mail, so before I toss it, I just check it out.
Okay. We need to go back over this dynamic here. See, I ask questions and then you answer with something resembling truth. Do you have any sense of boundary at all?
Some.
Is there anything you won't? I assume you don't crawl in bed with her when she's
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So we got a marker there. You're south of that. But what makes you think she needs this kind of scrutiny, this kind of supervision, this kind of vigilance?
Sometimes she may have things come into the house that she may be looking for, and she wants me to be on the lookout for it, so I'm looking out for it. So when it comes in, sometimes I'll call her and ask her if it's okay to open it, to let her know that's what it is.
Do we need to replay that tape? This is you watching out for stuff coming in. Are you nosy?
No, I'm just a loving, concerned mother.
Really? Do you really think that? Or is that just the posture you think
I guess it's just who you talk to.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to you. And you're the one, I'm curious. You're over there knocking on the door. You didn't like her hedges growing, so you went over and mowed them down?
It looked terrible, and it made it harder for me to see.
Okay, all right. Now, that's an honest answer, okay? That's an honest answer. You didn't like the way he looked, and they obstructing your view.
Yeah.
Okay, you watch to see when she gets home at night?
Watching out for her.
Okay. Yeah, were you watching out for her when you came storming in and threatened to call Child Protective Services because she kept your granddaughter out till 11 o'clock at night?
I just thought she needed to be in bed at an earlier hour.
God bless you. God bless you. Now, seriously, do you really think that's your job? And listen, it is your job to love, it's your job to care, and I'm glad you do. I really am. But do you really think it's your job to come storming in over there at 11 o'clock at night, chewing her out for keeping her daughter out till 11 o'clock?
It's never been a problem to me.
Do you see what that says right there? You're on the Dr. Phil Show, okay? She didn't write in here and say, you know, Dr. Phil, I would just like you to meet my mom. Could we come in? No problem. I just want you to meet my mom. I think she's cool. I'd like you to meet her. That's not why you wrote, is it?
No, sir.
Why did you write?
Because I was tired of her interfering and watching my every move and making me feel irresponsible and not capable of taking care of my family.
It's kind of an insult, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You know what time it is?
It's a never-ending battle with my mother.
It's a little too late for Jessica to be up.
She always thinks she's right,
Well, I don't care what kind of mother keeps her youngin' out.
but I'm wrong.
I don't feel like I'm interfering. I just feel like I have a lot of good advice to offer.
I'm constantly stressed out because my mom's prying into every area of my life.
Open the door.
Do you just think she's not competent?
She comes to me and asks me for things. She comes to me for advice. She comes seeking me.
And you have a hard time differentiating between giving advice when you're asked and giving advice when you're not asked.
Obviously.
You have a hard time. Because when you got home at 11 o'clock with your daughter, did you call over there and say, Mom, could you come over and let me know what you think of this evening's agenda? I want you to come tell me how you feel about my decisions so far today.
No, sir.
You
I
didn't ask
do
for that, but you came anyway. So it's not just when she asked you for advice.
No, I just don't mind giving it.
Yeah. Do you do this with other people?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really about communication and boundaries. And what I don't want to see happen is a lot of moms, when the child puts up the stop sign, then the pendulum swings totally the other way and they say, okay, fine, you don't want to hear from me? I'll just sit there and watch your house burn down. And so you just go over and say, I'm not wanted anymore. You don't want my advice? Fine. That's going too far. That's not what you want, right?
That's the guilt trip.
That's
that
the
she
guilt
gives.
trip. That's the manipulation guilt trip. I'll just go over here and eat worms. Okay? And that's not a healthy, what we're trying to do here is get a healthy balance, because this is crowding you, right?
Yes.
This is bugging you. And it really made you mad when she came over and said, you're keeping that child out, I'll turn you in. What in the world were you thinking? You're threatening to turn your daughter in to Child Protective Services for keeping her daughter out till 11?
That was probably just a threat.
No, it was a threat. That's the problem. You're threatening your child by turning her into the government. I'm going to call the government on you. You're so bad, I'm going to call the government. In retrospect, does it seem like you had crossed the line there?
After I thought about it later, I thought maybe I came down a little hard on her. But, you know, I'm very protective over my granddaughter as well. You know, not nosy, just protective.
Okay.
See?
You're 31. She's 31. She's not 16 or 17, she's 31. And what's going to happen is you'll eventually push her away because right now she's trying to resolve this in a really good-natured way, saying, Mom, take a step back, okay? We can cut our hedges, we can read our own mail, I can raise my own daughter. I do want your help and involvement, and extended family is so important for children. I think it's wonderful that she has a relationship with you if you manage it. But, you know, maybe, do y'all need to live back to back?
Well, the reason that we do is because rent is really cheap.
Yeah, well, it's cheap other places too. I mean, the rent may be cheap, but the cost may be really high.
That's true.
I mean, and what she can do And what you need to do, if she doesn't moderate, you need to move.
Yes.
It's just that simple. You just absolutely need to move. And I can see this pendulum swinging already. Okay, fine. Fine. You won't hear from me again? You won't hear from me again. I'll just go over here and be alone. You don't want to do that, but you do need to moderate this and have some respect, some boundaries. I'm just talking to myself, aren't I? You're just nodding along, just smile and nod.
That's a big step.
I think she doesn't know how to moderate.
Okay, but here's the thing. You're either going to take it or she'll take it for you. And you'll either say, Carla, tell me when I'm crossing the line. I want to know. And I will step back. And I'll wait to be asked. I'll wait to be invited. I'll wait to be solicited. I'll wait to get an invitation. And get a hobby. You know, go do something, you know? Today we're talking to what we call the butt-inskis, people who just love to butt into other people's business. They don't respect boundaries. They just run in and over-involve themselves in another person's life. Now you can say, well, if it's a family member, it's okay. Not true. Christy says that her obsessive snooping is so bad she's even resorted to smelling her husband's clothes to make sure he isn't cheating on her. Take a look.
I don't trust my husband, Shannon, so I have to spy on him all the time.
My wife Christy's snooping is so out of control, I'm ready to pack up and leave.
I ask him 50 to 100 questions a day. Where did you go? Who were you with? Who all was there? How many women were there? Did you flirt with me? Did they flirt with you? Did you miss me? Do you still love me like you used to?
And it wasn't until I looked at the list of things that she does that I realized how out of hand it was.
Is Shannon there? Or has he left for the day? I check Shannon's cell phone bill to see if there are any unrecognizable phone numbers, and I check every number. Well, whose phone numbers are those?
Which ones?
The ones that I've got highlighted.
If there's any there that she doesn't know, she will call them. And if a woman answers on the other line, she will interrogate them. Christy will get into my email and read all my emails and even the spam.
I smell my husband's clothes on a regular basis to see if there's perfume from other women.
Christy monitors my showers because she wants to make sure that I'm not cleaning up for another woman. I'll be out in a minute.
Why'd you shut the door?
I go through Shannon's wallet to see if there are any names and numbers of other women. I constantly check Shannon's hand to see if he's got his wedding ring on.
I have no privacy whatsoever. Christy is always in my space. I don't know, are you gonna follow me around all day, asking me questions?
I've driven around to see if Shannon is in places that he shouldn't be. I snoop in his truck to find papers, names, phone numbers, letters, things that a woman may have left in there.
Christy has found hair in the truck, but they belong to my daughter or her.
After Shannon's father passed away, he had an emotional affair last year.
I am already looking for places to stay. That's how close I am to leaving my wife.
Stop. I don't know why I do the things that I do.
Tell me your best theory of why you do this.
I'm insecure. I'm terrified that he's gonna leave.
Yeah. You're terrified he's going to leave. Has he left you before?
No.
Mm-hmm. But this is not something where, you know, a lot of spouses are sensitive to what their partners might do or not do, but this is something that this consumes you every day, all day, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean,
it actually is taking over my life.
It truly is. It
is.
You're consumed by it.
It is.
We did a day in the life. You get up. The first thing you do is, while Shannon's in the shower, and I don't know if you know this or not, you check all of the numbers on, like, cell phone. You go through his wallet. You go through everything you can get your hands on while you're in the shower. And I assume you know that. Yeah. Right? This isn't like an ambush.
I've walked in on it several times.
Yeah, you've seen this coming time after time. Then you take the kids to school, and from 8 to 4, you'll call Shannon 10 or 15 times and quiz him about his day. Don't flirt too hard. Think about me. Call me later. It just goes on and on. You ask about lunch plans. Then you'll start your chores and your snooping around the house. and that includes going through his drawers, clothing, pockets, looking for numbers, receipts, anything unusual, smell clothes for cologne, check all of his bills, anywhere that he has been or touched, you're all over it every day, all day.
The moment he walks in the door.
Yeah.
The moment he leaves and the moment he walks in the door and in between. It's an obsession that I have that I don't know why and I don't know how to fix it. I mean, every moment that he's not around, I'm constantly thinking the negative things.
What's this doing to you? I mean, truthfully, what's this doing to your feelings and your emotions for her and this relationship, honestly?
The only way I feel like I can stop is to leave. Because if I'm not around, she won't obsess about it. That's the only solution that I know. If I take a shower at an odd time, or shave, or put on a cologne, she questions me.
What you did?
Did you take a shower?
Didn't you take one this morning?
I go through Shannon's dresser drawers looking for anything out of place, receipts, phone numbers, names.
Christy's constant snooping and spying is pushing me right out the door.
Well, today's guests say that their spying and snooping is costing them their relationships. I mean, it really does. You either hear the person that's being snooped saying, I can't take it anymore, and in this case, Christy saying it's consuming her and she can't take it anymore either, but doesn't know how to stop. You think you are obsessed with this and you're out of control.
Yeah, I feel like if I don't do these things on a daily basis, like call him 20 times, and if he doesn't answer, I call again and again until he does, it's like I get a panic-stricken feeling.
This is a test. You're pushing him really hard. And every time he answers the phone, every time his shirt doesn't have perfume on it, every time you don't find a receipt, it's like a drug addict getting a hit. That it gives you a moment of relief. But as soon as the anxiety starts to build, you got to have another fix. You got to have another fix. That's why the incessant questions. That's why the incessant phone calls. That's why the incessant looking. And every time he doesn't leave, every time you don't find something incriminating, then he passes the test and you get a temporary fix. Right? Does that make sense to you? Yeah. Now, play what if with me for a minute. Because, see, I think monsters live in the dark. I want to turn the lights on over this. I want to just play this out to the end. What if you find a receipt where he's taken some woman to lunch? What if you do?
I would just ask him about it.
Okay. And then what if he said, well, you're right. We had lunch, and then we went over to the Sleazoid Hotel and checked in, and we had sex, and I'm having an affair, and I'm going to leave you, actually. What now?
It would just start a whole new argument.
No, not with him. He's gone.
You want me to interject?
No.
We broke it.
Nope, doing fine, thank you. What would you do?
Survive. I guess I would have to live with it.
Yeah, you would be hugely pissed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? I mean, you'd just be like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. You would just be really mad, right?
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
You'd get over it, right? Would you shrivel up and die?
No.
Would you like brain run out your ear or something? You would, to use your word, survive. Right? You don't want it. I don't mean to trivialize it, minimize it, or whatever, but this god-awful, ghastly, oh my Lord, just what if this happens? What if it happens? What if it happens? What if it happens? What if it happens? All I'm saying is answer the question. What if it does happen? Great guy. I'm sure you love him. Sure you don't want him to do that, but if he does, you'll be fine. Won't you?
I hope so. I mean,
What's the alternative? Are you going to like...
I guess my question is, though, if it's not him, is it someone else that I'm going to do the same thing with?
I'm asking the questions.
Oh.
These two are interviewing me.
Because I want to stop, whether it be with him or anyone else.
I understand. I'm going to talk to you about that.
Okay.
But I'm talking to you about it now. This is what this is. This is me helping you. You just haven't recognized it yet, okay? Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to turn on the floodlight so you see that this catastrophic thing that has you living in such gothic fear, this really ain't that big a deal. I don't mean, listen, go ahead and write me if you want, I don't care. But I don't mean to say that your spouse having an affair is not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's not a life-ending deal. It is not an all-consuming deal. It is not something that is the end of you. It's just not the end of you as we know you. You would get over it. People do all the time. They don't like it. It changes them, and it's hell to pay for the next old boy that comes along. But you will get over it.
Come on, Mom, that's not fair.
Life isn't fair. Get over it.
I have 4 teenage kids living in my household. I am a nosy parent.
She hides her phone like I don't know that's where it is.
But my 4 teenagers think I have no business going through their stuff.
Like to see photos. Valentine's memento. He emptied his call list.
I have no problem going through my kids' backpacks, dresser drawers, pockets.
Got a lighter.
Lifting up their mattresses.
Safe sex.
I even listen in on their phone conversations.
I think my mom simps way too much.
This is where Kayla rips up her notes and throws them away.
I feel like I have no privacy at all.
I can put these together and read them.
My mom gets crazy with it.
Jacob's wallet. Progress reports that we never saw.
She goes overboard when it comes to finding things in our room.
2 girls and a phone number. You told the whole bus that we broke up. Is it true? I did not buy her that. She's not even supposed to have a boyfriend.
She was thinking about getting her PI license because she enjoyed being so sneaky.
He thinks he's so smart. He locked the door. Watch this. I want to find out who they're hanging out with and what they're doing.
Love note.
I think teenagers put on a big show in front of their parents.
Anything in the toes of their shoes?
When I found out my daughter had her MySpace account, I immediately disabled it.
This is why. It says, I look so seductive.
I refuse to be one of those parents who doesn't have a clue what they're doing.
I think my mom needs to butt out.
Dr. Phil, I'm running out of creative ways to snoop on my kids. Do you have any new techniques for me? I say, as long as they're living under my roof, it's my rules. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what I think in a minute, but first, what's the downside here?
The downside is my kids think that they're entitled to more privacy.
What if one of the downsides is that your kids say, Mom doesn't trust us, so we just must not be trustworthy? Would that be a downside?
Absolutely.
Do you think that is a possibility here?
Absolutely.
Because I think that's going on with your kids. Okay, second downside.
How many do you have?
Well, a few. Second downside, is it possible that because necessity is the mother of invention and we tend to be adaptive, that you're teaching these kids to be really good liars? You know, because you say, I don't know why my kids lie, I always catch them. No, you catch them every time you know about. And for every rat you see, there's 50 you don't. You catch them 1 out of 10 times. They say, oh yeah, she found that condom under my bed. She doesn't know about the baby. You know, that's just an analogy. That is not the situation in this family, okay? Not even close at all. If you want your children to be trustworthy, you've got to teach them how to respect themselves and trust themselves, because you can't be in the back seat with your daughter on a Saturday night. You can't be at that party with your son when somebody rolls a keg of beer in. Bottom line, I think you're being a damn good mother. I think it is your job to know what your children are doing. I think it is your job to know what's under their bed. I think it's your job to know if they've got bad rhetoric on a MySpace spot. I think it's your job to know if they're coming home after drinking. I don't disagree with that at all, and I wish more parents would tune in and dial in like you're tuning in and dialing in to your kids. Now, having said that, you got to lighten up, Mom. You do. You got to lighten up a little bit. see, I believe in trust with confirmation. You know, it's kind of like setting up a treaty with another country. They're not going to make a bomb. I'm going to trust them, but I'm going to go over and check.
Right.
And I think you have to do it with your kids, but I think it's a matter of how much they earn the trust. If they say, I'm going to go here, 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 and there, and you check, and they're here, 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 and there, then you don't have to check every time. It will be more effective if you don't check every time. Well, as promised at the top, we recently touched base with Pamela and Carla. Here's what they had to say.
Hey, Dr. Phil, it's Carla.
And this is Pamela.
Just wanted to give you an update on how things have been going since we were on the show last time. It's been about 15 years.
Is it time for her to butt out of her business?
You gave us some advice to move and for her to get a hobby. We did both.
I did get a hobby. I got a husband, and that has kept me really occupied. I have realized that what you told me, the advice you gave me, really helped me to bring to light how I was controlling Carla.
She's 31. She's not 16 or 17. And what's going to happen is you'll eventually push her away.
I appreciate your advice, and it was very helpful. I think it has helped our relationship because I'm over here more now than I was when I lived behind her. So we have a great relationship.
And I just want to tell you this. Her daughter, my granddaughter, she's about to move 3 doors up. So we'll see you soon.
I did tell her, by the way, that she's a lot better. So we'll see.
I have to say, when I suggested to Carla that she move away from her mom, I didn't really mean for her to pack up her bags and just scoot down the road a mile. But heck, if it's working for them, more power to them. It's better than nothing. We'll keep you posted on the granddaughter 3 doors down. If there are past guests you're curious about, reach out and let us know. You can find me on any one of my social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thanks for watching this Dr. Phil Classic. For more information about today's episode, log on to drphil.com. That's all for today. We'll see you next time. You stay safe.
Next Dr. Phil Classic.
My mom needs to butt out.
Moms who can't mind their own business.
I have no problem going through my kids' dresser drawers, lifting up their mattresses. Safe sex.
They say, oh yeah, she found that condom. She doesn't know about the baby.
Dr. Phil Classics. Check your local listings.